You gotta love Candace Owens. She just speaks the truth. And after she shares about her grandfather, you have to hear what she says about the KKK. Truth all the way.
I myself was the victim of a hate crime when I was in high school. That's something that very few people know about me because the media and the journalists and the left are not interested in telling the truth about me because I don't fit the stereotype of what they like to see in black people. I'm a Democrat, I support the President of the United States, and I advocate for things that are actually affecting the black community. I'm honored to be here today in front of you all because the person sitting behind me is my 75-year-old grandfather. I've always considered myself to be my grandfather's child, and I mean to say that my sense of humor, my passion, and my work ethic all comes from the man that is sitting behind me. My grandfather grew up on a sharecropping farm in the segregated South. He grew up in an America where words like racism and white nationalism held real meaning under the Democrat Party's Jim Crow laws. My grandfather's first job was given to him at the age of 5 years old, and his job was to lay tobacco out to dry in an attic in the South. My grandfather has picked cotton, and he has also had experiences with a Democrat terrorist organization of that time, the Ku Klux Klan. They would regularly visit his home, and they would shoot bullets into it. They had an issue with his father, my great-grandfather. During my formative years, I had the privilege of growing up in my grandfather's home. It's going to shock the committee, but not once, not in a single breath of a conversation did my grandfather tell me that I could not do something because of my skin color. Not once did my grandfather hold a gripe against the white man. I was simply never taught to view myself as a victim because of my heritage. I learned about faith in God, family, and hard work. Those were the only lessons of my childhood. There isn't a single adult today that in good conscience would make the argument that America is a more racist or a more white nationalist society than it was when my grandfather was growing up. And yet we're hearing these terms sent around today because what they want to say is that brown people need to be scared, which seems to be the narrative that we hear every 4 years right ahead of a presidential election. What they won't tell you about the statistics and the rise of white nationalism is that they've simply changed the data set points by widening the definition of hate crimes and upping the number of reporting agencies that are able to report on them. What I mean to say is that they're manipulating statistics. The goal here is to scare blacks, Hispanics, gays, and Muslims into helping them censor dissenting opinions, ultimately into helping them regain control of our country's narrative, which they feel that they lost. They feel that President Donald Trump should not have beat Hillary. If they actually were concerned about white nationalism, they would be holding hearings on Antifa, a far-left, violent, white gang who determined one day in Philadelphia in August that I, a black woman, was not fit to sit in a restaurant. They chased me out. They yelled race traitor to a group of black and Hispanic police officers who formed a line to protect me from their ongoing assaults. They threw water at me. They threw eggs at me. And the leftist media remained silent on it. If they were serious about the rise of hate crimes, they may perhaps be examining themselves and the hate that they have drummed up in this country. Bottom line is that white supremacy, racism, white nationalism, words that once held real meaning, have now become nothing more than election strategies.
Wow, that was a powerful video to watch. Candace Owens, she just speaks the truth. Not only the truth, but truth with facts. She supports every single thing that she claims and that she says has happened. You can't get enough of hearing from her, and she's right. Her hearing right there, you probably never saw it in the media other than conservative channels. One of the things that Candace is right about, that I feel too, is that she shared how racism, the KKK, that was all led by the Democratic Party. But if you listen to today, as they try to, convince everyone that racism is just as bad today as it was many, many years ago, you'll notice that they try to have a tone and they try to have the words lean over as it's led by conservatives, which is totally bogus. But that's what they do today, and she's right. They want black people, brown people to feel a victim and to feel that the world's against them. And as she shared that it happens all the time, every 4 years, more so because elections coming. And they try to have the minority feel that only Democrats will support them. But how funny, not funny, but funny, funny in a way that is like not true, that they, under Trump, he did so much for the minority. He did so much for them, and they saw the difference. And the proof is in the pudding right there. Candace Owens is so right. It's sad to see the lack of support, the lack of direction for minorities, and they, as Candace said, they just want you to continue to feel a victim. And she said everything her father went through, he never felt a victim. He always taught his daughter to work hard, have faith in God. You can't question those values, because look at where she is today. Amazing.